Hello, it's Evelyn with a bit of your astrology update and guidance for this next bit of March and some of April. Changing energy, changing times. Are we going with the flow or resisting change? Last week we had a new moon conjunct Neptune and Venus on the Saturday, a perfect time to really dream about better times ahead and to be very creative about what we want to experience. This week, we have the sun moving into Aries, or Aries, whichever way you'd like to pronounce it, marking the beginning of the astrological year. This allows us to move forward towards those dreams with energy and purpose. Remembering that the overall theme for the year is Uranus in Taurus squaring Saturn in Aquarius. And that could make our plans a little tricky. We will need to discern the changes that serve us and our community and leave behind those that no longer work. Despite what is occurring all around, maintain your inner self as your focus and reference point. Consciously remember to be in joy, in high frequency energy, and gratitude, appreciation, love and peace. This serves you well. Chase away low frequency energy, anger, fear, panic, and so on. Remember that energy follows thought. Starve out what you want less of in your life. Just don't pay any attention to it. And focus entirely on what you do want. Putting your energy into the new activities that you want. So tomorrow being Saturday, the 20th, 21st and 22nd of March is when the sun moves into Aries and marks the start of the new year for us astrologers and others. This equinox chart sets up the themes for the whole year. And this year, the background set up in the December solstice is the Jupiter-Saturn conjunction in Aquarius, an air sign, for the first time in 200 years. We are experiencing an incredible light and consciousness evolution. The air sign influence means that our energy will be focused on our mental and consciousness activities rather than on material and possessions, which has been the focus for the last 200 years, while these planets have been conjunct in earth signs. So, how are we going to manage this? To change or not to change? We've also got Uranus in Taurus squaring this Saturn in Aquarius. And you know, as humans, we like familiar patterns and don't like change. Yet change is how we learn and grow. And this dominant planetary theme, the Saturn Aquarius square Uranus in Taurus, occurs 3 times this year. It was in February, and we will experience it again in June and December. Saturn in Aquarius wants boundaries, different boundaries to what we formerly had. Boundaries defined by the people, Aquarius, not the hierarchy, Capricorn. Uranus demands change. And typically this conflicting energy brings to the fore, this particular conflicting energy brings to the fore human rights, civil rights, freedoms, legal changes, constitutional changes, revolutionary energy. Historically, this configuration manifested in 1862 with a civil war in the US over slavery and human rights, leading to constitutional changes. In 1918 to 1920, in the Russian Revolution, the peasants pulled down the autocratic rulers. Women suffragettes marched and protested until they were given the right to vote. Many of you may still remember the 60s when people marched for power for the people and formed hippie communities. Uranus is futuristic. Saturn is the old, mental structures being upgraded. Remember that the outer planet Uranus has more power than tough Saturn in this situation. What physical manifestation will we have of this consciousness revolution? Aquarius has to do with the higher mind, our psychic senses. With the photonic light, electromagnetic radiation streaming into the earth and affecting all energies, are we being connected with galactic beings? Is our consciousness being upgraded without our consciousness or conscious awareness? We don't know everything, you know. We are experiencing the biggest leap in human consciousness for thousands of years. It's incredibly tough on the outside, but very important. And don't know about you, but I'm really delighted to be alive at this time. It's so exciting. So many different things happening, new things happening. This Uranus in Taurus, this disruptive planet, is in Taurus till 2025, bringing technological changes to the way we care for our Earth and our environment. And I'm sure if you looked around, you would find many examples of that. I recently was interested to read an article from soilco.com about their FOGO, Food Organic Garden Organics collection to all households that currently have green lidded bins in the Tweed area. And this allows organic waste to be composted and recycled rather than simply emptied into landfill. Wouldn't it be wonderful if all our councils could do that? But you know, individually, we can also work to we can work to reduce our contribution to the landfill. Let me ask you some questions. Do you deliberately avoid buying products that come with copious packaging? What about the food that you buy? Is it plastic wrapped and presented on, those polystyrene trays that you have to throw away? Can you buy meat or fish direct from the retailer, from the butcher, wrapped in paper? Can you buy your fruit and veggies without plastic bags and coverings, maybe from the greengrocer or the farmer's market? Does your food routinely come fully packaged? What happens to that packaging? Is that biodegradable? Can that be recycled? Do you have a compost bin at your house? What about a worm farm? It's slightly easier to manage than a compost and quite effective in recycling vegetable waste. What about a bokashi bin? Check the internet for the information on that. In that bin, the food is fermented and then recycled into the garden. And it's quite clever because it actually doesn't smell. You'd think it might, but it doesn't. So let's take a different tack and talk about being in nature. The sages all indicate that our consciousness will automatically update with the changing galactic energy, even when we do nothing about enabling that occurrence. Remember that the Earth is going right through this black hole in the galaxy it's never been through before. So we're bringing in all sorts of different energies. And this upgrade in our energies occurs so much more easily for our bodies when we're actually in nature. So that might mean a beautiful garden, or walking in the forest or on the beach. You can be active or just sit there and enjoy the beauty of the place. I challenge you to go and sit somewhere in nature and simply be. Notice what's happening around you. Peer closely at the ground. Can you see any insects scurrying around? Ants, lizards, wasps, bees, butterflies? We had a beautiful butterfly flying around here this morning. It was just gorgeous. What can you hear? Are there birds calling close and at a distance? Can you hear the leaves on the trees being disturbed by the breeze? Maybe those quiet noises will be interrupted by the sound of an aircraft flying overhead, or traffic on the nearby road, or the neighbour's music or voices, or who knows. Remember that we are humans being. We don't have to be humans doing. And allay some of your anxieties by just being conscious of what is, and be grateful. Imagine scenarios that are supportive, not ones that are not. And now in March, we're in the autumn, or if you're in the Northern Hemisphere, you're in spring. The point I'm wanting to make is that our bodies are nourished best by fresh produce that is growing in this season. Be conscious of how far your food is traveling before you choose it. Local is always best, as the energy is in sync with your own. Autumn fruit in the Southern Hemisphere: apples, pears, quinces, grapes, figs. For those in the spring, look for berries as they ripen: strawberries, blueberries, blackberries, loganberries, whatever berries. Vegetables in the autumn include pumpkin, greens of all sorts, tomatoes, cucumbers, zucchini, peppers, chilies, onions, garlic, ginger. And soups and stews are warming and nourishing as the weather cools. Find recipes that work for you and your family. And of course, in the Northern Hemisphere, spring vegetables come with all sorts of exciting different veggies: asparagus, fresh, delicious potatoes, carrots, peas, beans. Check out your local area or farmer's market and support those who actually grow the produce. You can look forward to more grilled food and salads, and perhaps eating outdoors. So, I always encourage you to eat well, breathe well, sleep well, exercise. And I'm encouraging you to breathe really well, suggesting full yoga breathing, and you can find out how to do that on my YouTube video on full yoga breathing. Breathing fully and deeply into that abdominal space is really good for quelling any anxiety. And when we control our breathing, we can control so much more of our life. Remember to completely fill the lungs on your inward breath. And completely empty them on the outward breath. Again, check out my YouTube video on full yoga breathing. If you'd like a different technique, we have alternative nostril breathing. Check out my yoga class in Libra at the 7-minute mark for alternate nostril breathing as a different but also effective technique for calming the mind and the body. We just about finished Pisces time, but I will just remind you about hands and feet. Pisces does govern hands and feet, so pamper yourself quickly by scheduling manicure, a pedicure, or even a reflexology. My lovely reflexologist Susie does a beautiful job on my feet. I had them done on Tuesday. And there are portions of the foot sole that can be stimulated by the reflexologist because they correspond to other parts of the body. And this can be very beneficial for your health and well-being, relieving stress and allowing the body to heal itself. Now, with all that stressful energy in our world, meditation can play an increasingly valuable role in calming our minds and our bodies. A relaxed body is far better able to balance its energy than a body that is stressed by events outside themselves over which we've got no control. So find time every day just to sit and be. 20 to 30 minutes is ideal, but even 10 minutes is better than nothing. Try it for yourself. Sit with an erect spine in a quiet, comfortable place. Adjust your body so you feel quite relaxed. Start by closing your eyes and focusing just on your breathing. Breathing in and breathing out. Be sure to breathe out fully. Keep up the rhythm of your breathing. You may find that your mind runs off in many different directions, but every time that happens, bring your awareness back to your breath. You will eventually feel quite relaxed. Allow the quiet breathing time to continue until your allotted meditation time is up. Then breathe in a full breath and sigh it out. Stretch up your arms and legs. Wiggle your fingers and toes and allow your body to resume your planned activities. Now, usually I have a little story to finish my videos. And I just want to tell you about a little experience I had recently. I went to the Tweed Gallery to look at the finalists in the Archibald Portraiture Prize. I find it a very interesting selection and a very interesting winner. You might like to check that one out for yourself. And I was very impressed with the entries from the junior artists. We have so many talented people in our community. Really fabulous. But the adventure I had was an encounter with a delightful woman who, with her husband, was visiting from the West to celebrate his mother's 90th birthday. Mother migrated to Australia many, many moons ago with 3 children and eventually had 10 children. And they were all there to celebrate her 90th birthday. So she had, I don't know how many, 39 grandchildren, numerous great-grandchildren and great-great-grandchildren at her big 90th birthday party on the Saturday night. And my new friend sent me lovely pictures of the birthday girl in a very svelte black dress, looking nothing like 90. So you know what? Live life. We have such great examples of how to live and not just fade away. So enjoy the equinox weekend. Embrace life. Live life for what you have today. Enjoy it. Set some high intentions. Have a great month. Bye for now.